teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start. Formation lap has started.
And watch. We're just gonna use today. Watch. We're just gonna use today. I'm just gonna use today just to see what the streaming capabilities are. Mission Wallace there. Haven't seen him in a while. Now back on the LMU Sprint. Makes a move up on Matthew Titus there to move from P4 to P3. He's now on the hunt for the Guyanese driver in Oswin Wilson, so this is going to be a fun battle to watch. The final podium positions for the GT3 class. Hearing some of the drivers talking in the voice room. It's typically one of our fun races, but now we are trying to move into a more serious environment for LMU and for our Saturday evening races, so this is going to be something that is quite new to the drivers. Keeping it clean and quiet for our Saturday races. But that being said, we do have about 12 drivers in. We should have a few more from Panama for next week. Fortunately, they will be missing in action this week due to some prior events that they have set and ready for. So we will see them joining back next week. We have a few drivers from the Caribbean here this evening. As you see, who was that? I believe that was a blue flag in Rich Dial. One of our Australian drivers actually, making his debut here at the JSRA, so we should see him even joining in the CTCC sooner than later. But that being said, is currently a blue flag driver at this very moment. We'll watch to see what he can do in the next few moments, but right now Mission Wallace is right there on the rear end of Oswin Wilson. He's hunting him down and looking where he can maybe make a move in the next few moments. We'll take a look at the 1v1 battle in a moment's time between himself and the car in front of him in Oswin Wilson. So this is going to be interesting to watch. We are still getting used to the different overlays with the LMU. We're using the WEC format, as a matter of fact. Something that we've been wanting to use in the last few days, and as you see it in the bottom of your screen, between Oswin Wilson in P7 in the overall, but that's not from the class positions. As you see in the yellow, the GT3s start with Kurt Moss, followed by Oswin Wilson, followed by Mission Wallace, followed by Matthew Titus, Ricardo Swaby, and Rich Dial. The latter two positions. Eitel is driven by Ian Lance, the Cayman driver over from the Cayman Motoring Federation, followed by Jaden Harrison, 1.7 seconds behind. Daniel Velez in P3, almost 5 seconds behind. He is testing this out in his virtual reality helmet. He's enjoying himself. Followed by Mr. Carroll, one of our good friends over from 7 Mile Racing. He does represent in our LMU series, and he has been looking to support us in all that we've done here at the JSRA from 7 Mile Racing as one of our league sponsors last season. Comes back on board now, wants to get behind the steering wheel and get some racing done, so excited to have him and Ian Lance and even a few other drivers from their league over in Cayman, in Julia Narcissus, and should see more and more popping up as the weeks go on. Again, this is the test race for this LMU Sprint Series, just to kind of get acclimated. As you see, Mission Wallace there sitting in the slipstream of that Ford Mustang. Takes a look on the inside. Nope, not close enough. As I head down now into turn 1, he is just following the rear end of that Ford Mustang, smelling the fumes from the American exhaust systems there on the Ford. So I head up Eau Rouge now. That BMW as one of our favorites here, especially in the GT3 classification, right behind the Porsche on the GT3. Kurt Moss there in the distance. Dominant performance so far from him in the GT3 class. It's about 6 seconds up the road. Jaden is closing in on Mr. Ian Lance, Gargamel Eitel, if you see it on the clouds. Daniel has been overtaken already by Carroll, and Daniel's not giving it up too quickly, and we'll be hunting down the likes of the Cayman driver. Look forward to seeing what this battle can bring in the next few moments. Jaden Harrison here trying to find a little bit of pace here this evening. Jaden did say that Ian, in our practice race this week, Ian was about 2 seconds clear of P3, a second clear of P2. Jaden Harrison was the second fastest on the track. So he is learning right now as he follows behind Ian Lance. Ian, a dominant driver. We saw them fighting quite a lot. Quite a lot in the iRacing series. That Formula 4 series that we had last year should be looking to start by that sooner than later. As the year progresses, we've been making plans, this being part of it. This series should be a prelude, as a matter of fact, to our endurance series that we're seeking to announce in the latter stages. Still waiting on the next update from LMU to make the next step, but right now we follow along board with Mission Wallace as he chases down the Guyanese driver in Oswin Wilson. Oswin representing with a Jamaican flag. Very fun to see. Wouldn't mind him here racing in Jamaica or for Jamaica, but he is from Guyana. One of our favorite persons to race with, one of our favorite persons overall. Just a good and genuine guy, rapid on track, as he will be trying his best to hold off the charging Jamaican behind him. That 6-second gap between Kurt and Oswin has now dropped to about 5 seconds. So we have 15, about 14 minutes elapsed, as Oswin should be chasing down Mr. Massive. Hopefully at this point, Mission not trying to fight too much. Maybe use each other to pull each other along and gain the car ahead. 5 seconds is a gap. Jaden Harrison, though, he is finding his pace because his last lap was about 2/10 faster than Mr. Lance. Even here, the sector 1 is about 5, almost 100th. 600th up on Ian Lance, as well as sector 2 being 3/10 clear. So he's looking rapid here, maybe finding some pace here, trying to see if he can close that gap. 3/10, 2/10, as he's hunting down a little bit of blue flags there between Matthew Titus. And there goes Jaden Harrison looking on the outside now. Will be heading on the outside, my apologies. Ian immediately goes offensive. We'll have the inside line. Jaden there later on the brakes, tries to go the long way around. As they head down now out of turn 1, Jaden Harrison does take the lead for the moment's time. Don't start flashing. That sounds like there may be blue flags going up Eau Rouge. Yup, I saw the rear end of Mr. Wallace. And right now, this is going to be a brown pants moment, because this is the fight for the lead. As you see, Jaden there goes wide around to take over for Mr. Mission and Alton Wilson. They are not giving this battle up, and they head down now after the Kimmel Straight, and they head into this S chicane, and Jaden still holds on to the lead. This is going to be the fight. Jaden, I'm sure, even before the race, was saying that he did not expect for this to be a good or brilliant battle, but there he and, you know, the typical him and Rohey Robinson, being the sandbaggers they are, makes a late debut. So this is going to be very fun for the foreseeable future. What was this strategy of Ian Lance to kind of get a little bit of enjoyment, or was this actually on pace? But Jaden has been looking quick, and he does go very close to the likes of Kurt Moss. That was a little bit of a brown pants moment for him, and you're seeing Ian there flashing and saying, "Sir, watch what you're doing." But they're just nail and tooth, or nail and hammer, whatever you want to call it. They are side or neck, and they are just pulling each other through. You're not giving an inch. Jaden Harrison now trying to see if he can pull away from the likes of the Cayman driver as we ride along board now. See what he can do in the next few moments. Seeing the comments, we can accept him. We can definitely accept him. I do agree there, because again, Oswin Wilson being one of our better friends here at the JSRA in the Caribbean. Hoping that we will see him coming on board more, but we'll continue to watch this race go along. But we will just take a quick look, because Michelle Wallace and Mr. Oswin Wilson have closed that gap to Mr. Kurt Moss to about 4 seconds. So that's going to be interesting to watch in the latter stages. Mission both under second behind the likes of Oswin Wilson. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But until the closest battle is between Jaden and Kurt and Mr. Ian Lance, and these two are not giving an inch. This is going to be very fun to watch. Stephen, I'm guessing that's Stephen Powell's in the caption. I would love to see you back on track, brother. It's been a minute, but we know life does become life, so we know we will see you eventually. That being said, back to the racing. Mr. Eitel there. We call him by Mr. Ian Lance. We'd love to take him as well on to the JSR, or not the JSR, but the Jamaican flag, but him now repping under the Cayman flag, and we'll be hunting down the likes of his region friend in Jaden Harrison. Looking forward to seeing this battle unfold, especially in the latter stages. He's just there staying right where he needs to make sure that once it's time to go racing, he has the best opportunity. Again, ladies and gentlemen, just still testing and seeing how these overlays work, and to get as clean of a mix. Is actually enjoying myself testing through the different features. So it's been quite interesting, to say the least. It has a lot of features to say, so please, if you have anything that you prefer, please leave it in the comments. Give us your feedback. Let's see how we can improve our streaming and our racing. We are looking forward to the Endurance Series. So this is a prelude too, and we're using this as, or the Sprint Series as a training series to get the drivers ready for when we have the Endurance Series sponsored and ready, and when we have a full grid. So each week we should see the numbers climbing. We do have quite a few drivers who should have made it for this week, but unfortunately, because of some other obligations, they had to miss it, including Panama and Argentina. As there you see, Mr. Ian Lance was looking. Jaden looking relatively slow there. Ian did see an opportunity, but Jaden shutting that door real quick, as they would say in Trinidad and Tobago. Should even say a few Trinidad drivers. Mikhail Charles was one of them who should have been here this evening, but unfortunately again could not make it. He is rapid in this LMU series, but right now, my apologies, as we've been riding along board with them. Mr. Michelle Wallace is looking like he wants to maybe get a little bit of screen time, as he's on the outside of Oswin Wilson. There's a little bit of contact there. Does nothing too much to cause any dramatics, but there goes Michelle Wallace. Moves up a position into P2 for the GT3 class, but Oswin Wilson, we've known never been to want to give up a battle too quickly. But Michelle Wallace at the moment holds off and holds that second position, holds the inside line and protects against. Oswin Wilson will have 25 minutes to try and make a response. But with this battle going on, it's extended that 4-second gap to about 7.5 between P2 and P1. So Kurt Moss now just having a very boring race, I'm sure. Maybe even slightly falling asleep. So hopefully, well, hopefully for us, we get a little bit of action for him for the fight for the lead. But we know Kurt Moss being a very clean and consistent driver. Has had a few issues with the CTCCs, but that's mainly because he doesn't get much time to practice in them. So that being said, Jaden Harrison has lots of lead now too. Missed out Ian Lance, and Jaden definitely pushing to try and see where he can gain back that advantage, but just holds forth and just stays as close as possible, sitting in that slipstream. This is going to be a fun battle for the foreseeable future. The two Toyotas, these are not teammates, ladies and gentlemen. They are friends off track, but on track, you know, they can be very tenuous and very I want to say excitable. But these two are not giving an inch. This is going to be the battle to watch for the most part. Next one being the battle between Oswin and Michelle. 7 tenths is a gap between them. Mario Scorse was actually in the top fight here, but it sounds like he got kicked to the pits for some reason at the beginning of the race, and that was the end of his race. So that was very unfortunate for him. We did want to see him racing. Mistakes happen, and again, this is where we make all of our mistakes and prepare for series that will really count. That's what matters. Jaden Harrison, they're still hunting. And there these two still fighting it out side by side, not giving an inch to each other. Jaden there looking now on the outside, tries to close the door. This is where he made the first move, did not get it to work this time. Ian there just putting the car exactly where it needed to be to hold off against that Jamaican. But Jaden definitely not giving up. 3 tenths is the gap between the two. Oswin Wilson as well, 6 cents off of Michelle Wallace. Still looking to see where he can make a move back and regain that position ahead of him. And we'll be right back to this battle, but right now we just want to see what's happening with the GT3 class. So Ford Mustang is dropping off 1.1 seconds now, the gap between Michelle and Oswin. 20 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sprint Series. We will be back next week, Saturday, a little bit more organized, a little bit more prepared and experienced, to say the least. This is the second time we're using these overlays. The first time was in our recording. This is the first time actually streaming with it. Even unfortunately, typically we have the triple screen setup. Right now we are using the single screens, and this is making it a little bit more difficult. But there is a rundown into turn 1. Sitting in the slipstream is Jaden Harrison. Takes a look on the outside. Does look like he can get it. Has the run heading out, and that looks like the move done. Jaden Harrison taking P1. Ian maybe giving us a little bit of excitement here this evening as he hunts down now the Jamaican in front of him. Hey, at this point, again, we're just trying to test out to see what's happening, but right now let's test the onboard HUD. Get the tower off and just Try and actually experience the epicness of Le Mans Ultimate. And this is kind of where we want to test it out. One thing is the driving is absolutely epic. Two, the overlays can give you a real awesome sense of what it is that we have to come. And imagine when we have the full Endurance Series, we have the full commentary team, we have the full lineup and grid coming later this season. And right now we watch on board as Ian chases down the likes of the Jamaican in front of him in Jaden Harrison, and these two haven't given an inch from the beginning to the end. We have about 18.5 minutes remaining in this session. Definitely looking forward to seeing what can come as they come up to blue flags right in front of them. Jaden, they're looking into the rear end. Oh, is that a Ferrari or a McLaren? Oh, there we go. It looks very close. And they're complaining that the drivers try to go off of the racing line to try and accommodate the LMDH cars, but we did make it known that at this point in the race, just if you see any faster cars approaching, just stick to your racing line. Let the faster cars make the decisions. You just stick to your racing line so that we don't have any incidents. But that being said, unfortunately, well, Michelle Wallace is catching up to Kurt Moss at a rapid pace. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited. And what seems like he may have made a mistake there. We'll look back at the replay at some point. Unfortunate there for Mr. Massive. Mr. Wilson there, so Ian looking like he's going to have some work to do to catch back up to Jaden Harrison, but right now, I was gonna say Kurt was gonna be closing in on Mr. Osmond Wilson, but clearly not too bad of an incident to get them too far away. So Jaden Harrison, almost 5 seconds leading the gap between himself and Ian Lance, looking very dominant here this evening. Did come in saying that Ian was going to dominate, but one too many incidents. Raven Plummer, this is her first race here on LMU, already finding pace. 203.8 was her fastest lap, so 1.5 seconds off of the best lap so far. Jaden is the second fastest. Oh no, my apologies. Jaden is the fastest with a 202.319. Next fastest was a 202.507, so 2/10 faster than Mr. Lance there. For the GT3s though, the man who has the fastest time was actually 2 seconds clear of the field with a 220.861. Mr. Kurt Massive sits in P3. The next fastest was a 222.020 done by Michelle Wallace. He currently sits in P1 in that GT3 class. But what's going on with Oswin and Kurt Moss? Because Oswin just lost a position. As we see Carol Aiton right there in the rear view. Should catch him at the end of this straight. Goes on the inside. Easy does it. And Oswin takes the runaway. Not sure what had happened there. To rejoin safely without any further issues. But right now, is he running out of gas? Maybe. I'm not sure. Could not tell you. Looking very timid on the gas there. Oswin Wilson sitting in P3. Kurt Moss does get back his position in P2 and still would have loved, I'm sure, to get back P1, but as it stands, as Raven Plummer goes down, doesn't make the move yet. Smart, no need to rush it. This is multi-class racing, just take your time and go around. As you see here, very clean, hold your line, Kurt Moss. That shows the experience between these two. Kurt Moss, as always. Flare blow, about 11 minutes to go. Jaden Harrison leads by 7 seconds to Ian Lance. Raven Plum as well making her debut here in Le Mans Ultimate. We're looking forward to what this series can become. Again, this is the start of it. This is the prelude to our Endurance Series, so looking forward to seeing what we can have in the next few months. Carroll there goes on the outside around Mission Wallace. Mission holding his line. Clean and easy does it goes Mr. Aiton. One of our better friends, rapid driver as well, found himself in an incident early, which messed him up. Right now Mission Wallace leads from Kurt Moss, from Matthew Titus, from Oswin Wilson. Oswin looks like he had to just go into the pits there. Ricardo Swaby as well in P5. And Rich Dial in his debut here at the JSRA. It's in P6. Nicholas Spendler, are you not supposed to be on the track? Hold them mission. What's I have to draw out the commentator voice. Oh, what's going on, bruh? Again, just another reminder, we will be back next week. It should all goes well, God's willing. We'll be continuing to progress and improve on our streaming capabilities. And all that we can do. Hearing some chatter in the voice chat, so let's see what's happening over here. So ladies and gentlemen, we are still looking forward to your feedback. Tell us where we can improve. Obviously one of the things being more drivers, so we'll be definitely looking forward to seeing the turnout for next week and the next few weeks. Man Eastman. Boy. Manny Eastman being Kimani Eastman there in the chats. Missing him as well on track, but he'll be getting the simulator sooner than later. Nicholas Spendler again. Bro, how many birthdays the kids have like per year, bro? Joke. Kurt Moss, 4.2 seconds to Mission Wallace, is chopping it down by about a second per lap. Or a few tenths, my apologies. His best lap was a 220.861. Let's look to see what he did at the last lap as he tries to hunt down the likes of Mr. Mission Wallace. And here comes Kurt coming around the final corner. 4.1 seconds. him on Eastman there. Slow is relative in the eyes of the beholder. I think that's how that saying goes. That being said, always looking forward to seeing you guys on track. And looking forward to a big grid. With this Le Mans Ultimate Server, we will continue to be putting the word out in the LMU Discord and our different partners between GT Panama, Nova Racing, 7 Mile Racing, Cayman Motoring Federation, and the Jamaica Simulation Racing Association. So we'll continue to push. This is the first series or first race ever officially hosted by the JSRA on the Le Mans Ultimate Series. So we are looking forward to this as our Endurance Series. We did start last year on a Assetto Corsa and we considered using it again, but this game has been absolutely epic. So we'll be looking forward to building our repertoire, building our grid. Just seeing what can be possible with this simulator. This has been one of our favorite, well, recently favorite car racing games to race and drive. We have a few drivers all throughout the Caribbean, all throughout the world, preparing to join in on that Endurance Series. So should be seeing them coming in, but some make it on a Friday night, can't make it on a Saturday. Some make it on a Saturday, can't make it on a Friday. But right now, eclipsing 2,000 Discord members as our community continues to grow. We're just hoping that our racing grid will also grow, but that comes with the grace of God. 3.7 seconds between Kurt Moss and Mission Wallace. Is this enough time? But Kurt Moss is trying to put the pedal to the metal. It's almost a second clear on the last lap. I did say 3.7 seconds. That did turn real quick. Right back to 4.193. 0.6 was the difference between each other on that last lap. Advantage going in the eyes. Mission Wallace. Right now, 11 seconds between Jaden and it's a Lance there. Come on, Eastman there said he's slow as well, but bro, just be reminded of what you saw today there at the National Arena, where so it is true slow in the eyes of the beholder. But I like it too, Mr. Pendley. Looking forward to many more races. Looking forward to seeing you back on track. Also one of our favorite persons here at the JSRA. Trying to make him blush a little bit there on his son's birthday. So huge shout out to his son, little Nick G. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, the G stands for gangster. But again, ladies and gentlemen, please give us your suggestions wherever you think we can improve, especially with the livers. Always going to be looking to see where we can do better. Your favorite beating stick is kind of crazy there, brother. But that being said, anything to draw out the fellow racing car driver. Ladies and gentlemen, we do also have karting championship coming up sooner than later. As you just finally finish mapping and loading up the LiDAR scanner of the Palisades track out. And you've guessed it, the Palisades racetrack. So we'll be announcing more details on the Patreon to get more information on that. If you want to get involved in that karting championship, we have a really epic mod almost on the verge of completion. And I'm noticing some drivers in the pits. Is that tires? Is that fuel? My apologies. As Daniel Velez now sits in P5. As we're seeing him here coming out to the pits. So was that a lapse in judgment for the the fuel? Because of, as well is Mr. Ian Lance sits in P4. Caril sits in P3, and Raven Plummer in her debut here in Le Mans Ultimate sits in P2 with 21 seconds remaining. Jaden Harrison coming around. Hey. Raven, I'm sure, will be taking this with a huge smile on her face. 34 seconds is the gap. My apologies. Carol has taken P2. And is Raven Plummer in the pits? No, she is not. She is running out of gas, ladies and gentlemen. That might not have been the nicest thing to say or do, because as now she struggles down the line, and that's why the other drivers did head into the pits. Raven Plummer for a few seconds there did look like she was taking P2 away. Carol Aiton does move up into P2. It lands from P2 into P3. Daniel Velez from P3 to P4. And this is the final moment of this race. That was a little anticlimactic, if I do say so myself. But that being said, Jaden Harrison comes across the start-finish line to win this race. Again, very anticlimactic. Michelle Wallace as well. Looking like he will be the winner of the GT3 classification. Carol as well comes out in P2. Ian Lance finishes off in P3. Not running out of gas there. Daniel Velez. Michelle Wallace still trying to hold off. Very promising here in P1. A very, very, very good margin on Kurt Moss. Kurt Moss did go into the pits. Look like he as well ran out of fuel, but still more than enough time. Kurt Moss, Matthew Titus, and Oswin Wilson all in the pits. Maybe they passed the start-finish line after the time had elapsed, and that gave the win to Michelle Wallace, being the only driver out on track. Raven Plummer again, DNF beside her name. Unfortunate for her there in her debut here in Le Mans Ultimate. That being said, Michelle Wallace comes around the final corner to finish off this race in P1 for the GT3 class. Huge congratulations to him, keeping his nose clean. Slightly anticlimactic race, but this is where we learn how to do better and be better. Congratulations to the winners in this race. Jaden Harrison finishing off in P1, Carol in P2, Ian Lance in P3, Daniel Velez in P4, and Raven Plummer in P5. Michelle Wallace finishes in P1, Kurt Moss in P2, Matthew Titus in P3, Oswin Wilson in P4, and Ricardo Swaby in P5. We'll open up the mic for a little bit, just to give the drivers a little bit of an insight.
Yeah.
That was a total gift, bro.
Proper business.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
time racing on this car, and my first time on a spa on this game, so yeah.
For the first time, you're fast, man. Proper fast.
Thank you, bro.
really. What happened to Raven, the DNF?
I think she ran out of fuel.
She did.
Fuel,
Yeah, I ran out of fuel. I thought the like virtual energy gauge was the fuel gauge because I don't know, I just didn't see the fuel gauge here in VR. I just didn't look at it that close, I guess. So I was like, I have 3%, like I should finish this with 1% left, but I ran out of fuel. So
Oh, you're right. I only have 0.5 liters of gasoline. That's why I entered pits. Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
all
the
made
same
that
thing that happened to
mistake.
me. I loaded
Yeah.
my setup and it had like half a lap less actual fuel, so I had to pit. I tried to save, but wasn't enough.
I realized like
but also at
maybe
the
about
very
2 laps.
beginning, it wasn't putting on my tires. So by the time I put on the proper mediums and I went out, it was too late for the formation lap and I had to start from pits.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
Uh-oh. E3 is not bad then.
I'm sorry, say again?
Sure. Nah, bro. How did you did 2021? Like, have you raced previously on this? Jaden?
I think I raced like once.
Last.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, I was going to be able to do 202.7 or something like that, but yeah, I kept making mistakes.
It just
And I
comes
am,
with time. Because
yeah,
I think this FFB is a lot less detailed than like what you're used to. So it's like driving without knowing, I think. Just takes
yeah.
time, really.
Yeah, no, the FFB here, it's amazing. Like, this game is really, really well done. And I was trying the PMAX right now because they send me like a comfort strap, so I can use it. But no, man, it's still very, very uncomfortable. The quality is amazing. Like, I am racing at 120 hertz. And I, like almost take down all of the quality. And even so, the quality is better than the Quest 3. But yeah, really uncomfortable, at least in my head.
Probably because it's heavy.
Yeah, they are very heavy. And in order for me to, they are moving around. So if I, they have like a gap in my nose. So when I turn my head really fast, it's like how to say it, like the inertia, since they are not totally fixed to my head, so they take a bit. If I am making me understand. So due to that gap, it's I have to press a lot against my head, and I have a lot of headache right now just due to that press.
Well, I can't imagine that'll be much better in the endurance. I mean, if it's that rough now, that was only a 45-minute session. The longer ones would definitely be rough on you, right?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to test the goggles because I was not able due to the stock strap is too small and I cannot like fix to my head, so I was seeing blurry. But now here I can see.
And ladies and gentlemen, that does bring our stream to the end. We will see you next week, Friday, for our Caribbean Touring Car Championship round 4 at the Brands Hatch. And then following that, we will get back to round 2 for the Le Mans Ultimate Sprint Series. We will be looking forward to seeing what the drivers can bring. Bigger grid, more excitement, more fun. Thank you for spending your evening with me. Have a blessed evening. And God bless.